Miller, obviously, huge bowl game win, team rallies around you, everybody seems like you're the guy. What was the feeling compared to past spring games coming into this one?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, spring game environment, I don't think it's that different because every spring game I've played, I've had to prepare to play, actually. So, not that different in terms of preparation. I think in terms of the leadership role, obviously that's changed, but I think that's kind of been the case throughout spring. So it's been something I've been working on for the past 4 or 5 months. So nothing all too different, but prepared the same way, largely.
Jonah, as a former tackle, can you break down your confidence in Elijah and Mason on the left and right side?
Yeah, I've been super confident in them, leading up to now. I think they've had a great spring. They're obviously both, very talented with good frames. I think especially Mason, over the past couple months, I think there's been a big, sense of maturity, and mentally there's been a lot of improvement. Just, really seeing him, grow into himself, which has been good. But at the end of the day, those guys are hard workers, and I'm confident in both.
Hey Zach, so you guys lost a couple veterans from last year's team and your group. How do you think yourself and your group has grown during the spring so far?
Yeah, I think we just got to play as one unit, like we said, not just as receivers, but as an offense. I'm just trying to get that chemistry with each other, learning from each other every day. I may take some from the outside receivers may take from the slot. So just trying to get each other better every day and work as one unit.
Miller Lincoln said, post game that, if you had to name a starter right now, it would be you. Or if you were playing today, that was the goal. How do you kind of maintain the mentality that you've had since the Holiday Bowl through the rest of the summer, through the fall, to kind of lock down yourself, entering the Big Ten as USC starts quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think my mentality or approach has been based on Lincoln saying or Coach Riley saying that I'm the starting quarterback or not. My job is to lead this team, do everything I can to help us win. So it's not predicated on what's said publicly. It's predicated on that locker room and what's said privately. I'm excited about the work we did this spring and excited about that going forward.
Zach, you go against these dudes every day in practice. The DBs, they have tremendous length and play with better technique. What has Coach Lynn's philosophy brought to the team that you're noticing in the DBs?
Like I said, for offense, just kind of playing as one unit. I feel like just not being an individual player and kind of having those individual mindset while you're out there on the field. Because, defense, I feel like you have to have a certain scheme, dropping in certain zones. Everybody has to be on the same page. And I feel like he's just done a great job just making sure everybody's all together as one unit, and it shows out there on the field.
Miller, you have a unique aspect on watching the defense from last year to this year. What's the one biggest step you would say that you've seen from the defense this year?
Yeah, they make you earn it this year, and I think it makes us better as an offense. The biggest kind of area I noticed is going back and watching our install cut-ups offensively, and obviously watching them in practice against the defense in the previous years. And there were definitely things that were largely open that are not now largely open, for lack of a better word. So it definitely makes us a lot better offensively, and I'm excited to kind of see how that feels now going against other defenses having gone against a really solid scheme throughout spring and then also fall camp.
Jonah, obviously, losing Justin, a big part of the offensive line, looks a lot different this year. How do you as a returning player sort of help reshape an identity for this offensive line?
Yeah, obviously it helps with the transition to center, but I've got to take direct leadership of that room and those guys. And like I said earlier, they've done a good job this spring. We've made a lot of progress, but we've still got a long way to go. And it's just keeping that mindset of attacking every day, knowing we've made progress, but we've got a lot more to go.
Zach, how much faster have you gotten this offseason? Obviously, you talking about faster running with the 4.3. Are you in the 4.2s now? And what's individual, aspect of your game that you've improved the most on?
I definitely have got a little bit faster. I feel like we had put a catapult on me in track. I hit like 23 miles per hour. That was my first time hitting 23, so I was proud of that. And I feel like the biggest aspect of my game that I'm trying to evolve is just being smarter on the field, my football IQ, being able to read defenses a little bit faster, recognizing pre-snap a certain coverage that they may be trying to disguise and then roll into a different coverage. So I feel like that'll just make my game evolve a little bit better, just being able to change my routes and do all that before the play and after the play based off certain coverages, making it easier for our offense.
Hey Miller, you guys have some new faces there in the backfield. What's your thoughts on their performance so far?
Yeah, I've been super impressed with the two newcomers, obviously one old and one young. Woody is obviously a veteran guy that's played a ton and come in and really hit the ground running. He has a ton of knowledge in which is obviously really important when it comes to playing this offense. He also has really natural hands for running back, which you don't often see. So really helps us as an offense in terms of what we can do there. Brian Jackson has been one of the most impressive freshmen. We talked about the changes he made with his body in terms of weight throughout the winter, and then just his ability to come into spring. Obviously, like he's a high school senior, so he's leaving this game and going to prom and graduation and all that stuff. So really proud of the work that he's done coming in, digesting a ton of new information, and kind of hitting the ground running. So obviously, we love the two guys that we have in the room in AP and Quentin, but great new additions there as well.
Zachariah, during the offseason, you were at the Walter Camp Awards. From what I understand, you were the first freshman to speak. Has that instilled any type of leadership qualities that you're carrying it over here to practice? Have you noticed that?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely am trying to be a little bit more vocal. In the past, I definitely have just kind of lay on my actions. But you know, energy is a big factor in trying to get an offense going. And I mean, as you know, I got a lot of personality, so I just try to carry that over to the team and just make sure I'm getting everybody fired up in the huddle to get us getting the drive going for sure.
Miller, Lincoln had an interesting comment. He said that the first two practices of spring weren't fully up to your high standard, and then from there on you were locked in. Was there a conversation after those two, or was there something that kind of clicked for you?
No, I don't think there was an explicit conversation. I think that obviously having Caleb there, I could really worry about my performance more than anything else. And I think early on in spring, it was juggling, worrying about the offense as a whole, and then also dialing in on what I needed to do for myself. So I think that was good, and it's part of the natural progression of just stepping into that role, you know. So I'm really glad I went through it. Not to say that it wasn't frustrating in those first two practices. Obviously, I come out, I step on the field, I'm going to play to my standard each and every time. But I'm glad that I kind of went through that adjustment period, and I think really hit the ground running after that. So it's not that you have success once and then it's all easy after that, you know, like there's ebbs and flows with this thing. So there's gonna be more adversity coming up this year, and I feel like we're well equipped to handle that, but definitely excited about kind of going through those kind of things.
Coming up, you guys have summer workouts, PRPs and stuff like that. How does that time of year benefit you guys going into the fall?
It's great. I think just in that we have such little required time, we can really take a jump in terms of what we do versus what the rest of the country did. I think myself and the receivers spent a lot of time together in this winter period, and I think we're going to continue to do so. And the more time we can invest on our own, the more of an edge we can get on the field. So definitely excited about that period of time.
Miller, in addition to technique, it was an emphasis in the secondary to bring in a lot of more length, more size.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how was that kind of played out this spring with guys like DeCarlos, Marcellus, and the plays they were able to make today?
Yeah, sure. That first third down, Nick made a great play on the right sideline. So obviously, kind of see how that played out, but it's been great. I think it also makes me be more precise as a passer, and just helps the team as a whole. And like you can play more aggressively on defense when you have coverage guys like that. And so we've definitely seen that throughout spring, and excited about those guys.
See one more?
Jonah, the defense.
Somewhat of a tough day for not just you, but the entire quarterback room with the interception. So what do you think went into that, and how do you guys kind of bounce back from that moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, obviously started off not great. Some poor decisions, some balls didn't bounce our way, but I'm happy with how we responded. I thought we operated really well as a whole. We just kind of eliminate some of those mental mistakes, and obviously a couple of bad bounces. But I thought the offense operated as a whole really well and really efficiently. Just gotta cut down the mistakes. But I mean, this is what that time's for, and I'm excited about the direction of our offense as a whole. It's also good to see the defense be opportunistic and make plays and capitalize when we don't do our job to the best of our ability.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you guys.